listening to Sisters with the Y, episode 6.
So you're dead. Now what? Who plans your funeral?
And will they respect your wishes?
Yes. Are most of you ready to die? And not in a spiritual type of way, but in a more efficient type of way. Do you have a will? I think that's a big one. Do you have a will? Do you have your wishes in writing? Telling people what it is that you want when you die. I feel like it is for some of us, such an uncomfortable conversation.
Because it curses. It will make you die the next day.
I think that's what most
like
people...
life insurance.
Yeah, yes, I think that's what it's like, or car insurance in that case. But and we do that, so why not plan for our death? I think my mom is definitely getting up there in age, and even though we were just talking about this today, I definitely believe that my mom has a good 20 years left in her life. But even now at her age, and my mom is 72, going to be 73 soon, she will not talk about it.
No.
I had to, because she's at that age now where she's at the point where if we're in a doctor's office, they are going to ask if she has someone that knows her wishes. And if she has a power of attorney, they've asked me that before. And then that is one of my goals to do soon too, because she is up there in age. But I asked her one time, if you were on life support, would you want to be unplugged? And she's like, why are you asking me that? Why are you asking me that? And I don't want, she didn't want to talk about that. That alone made her feel uncomfortable. So how do we get her to talk about it? How do we get us to talk about it? How do we get us to do something about what we want?
And even like that, I think maybe if it was mentioned by her doctors, where I used to work, we had 5 wishes. So we only dealt with seniors. Most of our patients were seniors. So every time a patient would come up, as soon as this started, we would ask, do you have your 5 wishes? And they would say no. Then we would be like, okay, after you see your doctor, you're going to go and see one of the social workers or somebody that worked with the patients. And they had them write down the 5 wishes for when they're dying.
Oh.
And a NRA, do you want to be resuscitated?
And maybe that's a thing, to have it in the same building.
Yes.
Because
that helped a lot.
I think having to go, I think they asked me this. This was, not even the doctor my mom has now. It was the doctor before that. So it was probably a good 2 years ago where they said, you need to have a power of attorney. We need to know what you want if something were to happen. And we didn't do it because I think that topic alone, to have to go somewhere and notarize it, it just makes it almost creepy.
Yeah.
And my mom definitely feels that it's like, well, you're wishing it upon me. You want me dead already.
Which I think is because it's coming from us. Then I think, what if it came from the doctor and said, you need to fill this out, and only you and I.
And the paperwork is there already.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that might be better, but her doctor doesn't do that.
No.
But I think that might be better, or if it was in the same building. But would it get us to do it? I remember when my daughter was young, my husband and I talked about a will and needing a will, and we never did it. It gets awkward. It gets... I don't know. It's almost, I don't know if, I wouldn't even say that it's jinxing it. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe I do and I don't know it.
Yeah.
But it was also always a conflict about, well, then who keeps the kids?
And what if things change? A lot of people...
Then you change it. It's very easy.
So you just change it every year.
And whenever you want. Our younger sister is very on it. She does have all of this in writing. She does know what her wishes are.
Who's she leaving all her money to? Does she even have that money? See, I don't have a will. I have nothing.
but you have kids. You have 2 kids.
Oh yeah, who needs my kids?
If not, it is a struggle. It is a fight, and does anyone want to be fighting at this time when they should be mourning, technically?
Yeah.
It is something to think about. I think when my son turned 18, then it was, I was able to breathe, because then I had nothing to worry about. I told my son, if anything, God forbid, were to happen to my husband and I, then you have to care for your sister. And that he doesn't have to fight anyone. It just becomes that, because he's next of kin. It becomes his she becomes his.
There
She's
wouldn't
a
have to
she.
be a fight for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But money, there would. The
Yeah.
house, there would. And all of that, like how it still doesn't get us to go and do something about it.
I think it's that if you have assets, then you're gonna do a will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And then one time my friend told me she had like this deal with God that she couldn't die until her kids were 18. So me and God already made that deal. And then once my son turns 18, then then he deals with it. But I don't know if yes, right now that my kids are small, I would just figure that my kids are at the point where they can verbalize who they would want to be with.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it might not, but I also don't know who I want to leave them with. There's not many choices.
You have one choice. I know. You have one choice, so put it in writing.
That's my only
Put it in writing if you don't want our brother to raise him.
And I have so many ways believe
everything would change. Everything would change.
And
her daughter would be matching, and she would be pulling my legs from heaven because.
So I think it's not doing it for that reason.
Because then you're committing, and we are also. And you know what? I think we need to kind of figure out what that ties into. But we definitely have commitment. We definitely have commitment issues.
And we're so loyal, I think.
And we are,
including my mom.
You're right. We are super loyal people.
I just don't want to be asked to write it and put it in writing.
Like, that's already too much. Or like, to me, you ask me what my favorite color is, and you're stressing me out. Why do I have to decide on one favorite thing? Why can't I have many? Like, that's just too much. But yes, we're super loyal. I mean, I've been at the same place of employment for almost 11 years now. I've been with my husband for we've been married for almost 14 years. I had my car for 16 years.
Yeah, so
it's yeah.
I don't understand. I think with anything at this point, I would never get married again. I would never put it in writing because I don't understand it. Like, why do I have to put it in writing? I don't understand why if I have to die, why do I have to put it in writing? Why can't people just know me? To me, it's more like just know me.
But I think certain things we know, but even with my mom, if we go back to my mom right now,
I think I know.
If something God forbid happened tomorrow, then
wear black, don't have the two people she hates in the family at her funeral.
But how do we dress her? What does she want to wear? How does she want her makeup? How does she want her hair done? Does she want people to look at her, open casket, or is it closed?
No, I think she wants open casket so everybody can cry and remember.
We think
her look.
We think that because we're judging her by her culture.
By her and what she says.
But we don't know. And because everyone's going to be looking at her, I'm sure she's very specific on how she wants to look.
I think, yes.
And what does she want to be buried with? What does she want? Does she want things inside her casket?
Nobody should have things inside their casket.
That's what you believe. But what if she does? What if she wants her cat?
Her cat. Kill her cat. And what, her son? Put it in there too. You shouldn't.
Disclosure, we will not kill the cats or my brother.
Oh, yes. But I think she would want to, look good, but not ridiculous, not how she never looked. And then probably, she doesn't want her jewelry in with her because that's my brother's. You see, she verbalized it to me.
She wants him to have her jewelry?
To sell it and have money.
My gosh.
Oh
my gosh.
I already know that. And I'm probably going to have to keep the cats. And I still told her the other day.
John's keeping one of them.
Oh, and Tago's keeping Yago.
No, she said John's keeping Yago. She's giving it to everybody. People. Oh my. See, we need it in writing. We need it in writing. She needs a
We're not going to fight for it.
The other thing I've spoken to my mom, and I know that people are going to disagree with this, but I feel that no one should be financially responsible for your death.
Yeah.
No one should have to carry that burden. You're already mourning someone that hopefully you loved being dead. The last thing you want to deal with is financial responsibility. True. And I truly believe that people should pay for their death while they're living. Yeah. So I've told this to my mom. I feel we need to start a payment plan for her to start paying for her spot, for her, I don't even know what they call it, your lot or your piece, your plot. I don't know what it's called. But she does need to start paying for that. And that made her uncomfortable. And so I dropped it.
Yeah.
And in reality, we shouldn't. We should do it.
But because that's your belief. I think to her belief is, you love me. You're my kids. You pay for this. I don't think her belief is that she needs to pay for it. To me, it's like, I don't have money. So I'm not going to be putting money down. So whatever's cheapest to incinerate me, throw me in the trash. I can care less. I'm dead.
But well, we can't legally throw you in the trash.
Oh well, like I'm sure there's like somewhere where like when your pet dies and they burn them with other pets that die.
Yes, you can.
And you don't keep the ashes, like cremate.
But you don't want you don't want someone to keep your ashes.
Not really. I don't have a special place as to now if I die today.
But see, here's the other thing too. And I always tell my husband this too, because my husband says the same thing. I don't care. Just don't put me in the ground. I don't want anyone walking on me. I don't want anyone walking on me. Just burn me and throw me somewhere. And it's like, you have no special place. Throw me in the ocean. You hate the ocean. Why would I throw you in the ocean?
I'm hoping that by the time I die, I went to Europe
and you found this beauty.
I loved it, or I went on a cruise and loved it, and whatever.
So now it's like, go back on that same exact cruise and throw me overboard.
But I am a believer that your soul just uses this body to walk on this earth.
And I agree, but...
So if you mourn, I don't want a mourning place. I would hate to have my kids secluded to this one place where they need to mourn me. And then you know what happens? Years later,
they forget you.
They forget. Oh my God! Then they go one day and there's weeds growing all over it. There's nothing. No, but what if they feel guilty?
What if it's not on the ground? What if they need you though? They need you in some way. But that's to you. To you, you're not the body.
If I'm raising them believing that, but if they change their mind, then so be it. Because I don't care. That's not what I believe.
and I think, this is what I tell my husband, is that when you die, you're dead. Yeah. You're dead. Whatever it is that you feel your spirit is going to do, or whatever you believe that's going to happen to you or your body or your spirit or whatever it is, that will happen. But what about the living?
I think they could mourn me in their silence.
And I hate to sound selfish, but I tell him, when you die, what about me?
You'll be crying in your bed,
and
you don't need to run to the cemetery lot.
I know, and maybe I don't need him to be.
And you're not gonna grab the ashes and be starting to put your hands inside the.
No, you just have this urn or this box or. I don't know.
They put somebody else's ashes in there, and you're like crying to it. I see no point.
And I get that you still have you're gonna mourn in your own way, but I feel like you still have to have some sort of
symbolism. It's like this need
or even if we don't, even if we throw away these ashes, even if I throw him overboard in the beautiful ocean that he hates, but then I need to know that after you died, we had this time where we all got together, where we all joined to mourn you, even if it's just for those 2 to 3 hours.
And I get it. This is my problem with it. And I think the older I get and the more I see people around my age group maybe passing away, they always say you only live once. No, you live every day and you only die once. I have this big problem to where people wait for you to be dead to celebrate, to remember you, to think of you, to have this ceremony. To me, I'm sorry, we can start doing that. If we started doing it with living people, we wouldn't focus so much on this funeral and this mourning and this thing, because we celebrated them as much as we could while they were alive. I feel hypocrite.
And I agree to a certain point, because I hate when people are like, but she was so good, or she was so this, and it's like, remember all the bad things you used to say?
Exactly.
Or remember how many times you avoided her phone call?
And then the person who never talked to me in 500 years is
now the ones. Yes.
And
I remember a very close friend of mine passed away. Yeah. And I was part of, they paid to where they had kind of like closed the streets, and you have a little sticker on your car and you rolled by or whatever until you get to the cemetery. And the mom had requested that my car get a sticker, and I remember her cousin was like, oh no, she's not going to get a sticker, she's not part of the family. And her mom came and was like, oh, she's getting a sticker. And to me it was just so upsetting, and I didn't say anything, of course, but I didn't see my friend as much as I should have. After she went through what she went through
until
after.
She dies.
But I did go see her. I was there if it was once or twice a year, but at least once or twice a year. Yeah. And every single time I went, I made sure that I did something that she wanted to do. And it's way too long of a story, but my friend didn't function at her age level. So whatever she wanted to do, I would make sure to take her. That that didn't want a sticker on my car had not taken her anywhere, not once, after she had gotten sick.
And you see, in my head, I already have 2 people that I know will be there when I die. And I'm going to be like tossing and turning because I'm going to be
Why are they
like,
there?
what the hell? Like, let's...
Mm-hmm.
You see, to me, that's that. I can count in my 2 hands who will be the only people that should be somewhat sad that I passed away, and who will be making this big drama because now you're feeling it.
Yes.
Now you know that I'm dead. That's it. You can't make up for whatever.
But I think what people need to understand also, and they don't, because again, it's this whole uncomfortable. It's being uncomfortable with death. But what they need to understand is that it's okay to say bad things about the dead.
No,
I don't think there's anything wrong. If somebody died and they were a pathological liar, why is it bad to admit that they were a pathological liar once they died? You can say that. Just say it. Or, someone loses a significant other that they weren't together with. They weren't with anymore. But they now lose this person that at some point they were with. They broke up for a really good reason. They were not in good terms, but they lose them and now they become the love of their lives.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Why do you feel bad? Why can't you still dislike that person?
There's a guilt that comes with the people that are dying. There's a guilt to the people who stay there, which is, I don't know if it's tradition, Mexican. I've seen it in Mexican, in my family, and they're Catholic, so I don't know if it's a Catholic thing or a Mexican thing. So every time you talk about someone that died, and it could be like a bad thing, like, remember when she didn't like you?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you're not gonna not make her rest in peace, because we are our own advocate, right, to heaven, if you believe in heaven. We're the only one that can get us in or out or rest in peace or not rest in peace.
And does it mean, and if you do say something bad,
it's not gonna,
it doesn't mean that you don't feel bad that they died.
And you could
and it
feel
doesn't mean
bad
that you don't feel that they shouldn't have died.
Yeah, you could feel bad that they died, but just because you said rest in peace doesn't mean that you suddenly love or care for that person.
Yes, exactly.
Which is more to that.
Or just because you cry in their funeral doesn't mean that you all of a sudden now you love them or you feel that they were this great person.
And maybe
it just means it's sad. I cry at weddings all the time. I mean,
they shouldn't be doing it.
Probably, and it's statistics. Half of those weddings they're not gonna last, but it's still it's still very emotional and loving because, hello, it's a wedding.
Yeah, don't cry.
It's very emotional. I'm an emotional person. It's also funerals. I cry at. I mean,
and you have to.
I don't even know if I don't know the person, and I don't know. I've never been to a funeral that I don't know of the person. But even if I wasn't that close to the person, I'm going to cry because it's sad. It's a funeral.
But I think in my life, maybe I'm trying to think of a funeral that I went to that I really don't remember who it was. But it must have been maybe someone. I have no idea. Maybe I went with someone for that. But I've been to 2 funerals, which was Carmen and your friend and my aunt's. With Carmen, I remember crying just because you know this person, and the way that it happened, the way that led up to her death was so unjust.
Yes, and it was so unfair.
The crime was for like, how can someone had let this happen and let her life be the way it was and then end up in death and the other people are not dead? With my aunt was the same thing. My crime was, she's dead. That's it. I can't bring her back. But it's, you lived the realization that and what is what everybody says? When somebody dies, you realize life is short. So the realization that she died and she was probably not happy for most of her life. Yeah. I had another friend that passed away and that I should have gone to her funeral. But guess what? At that point, I'm like, I have nothing to do in her funeral. She's dead. She's not going to know that I went. I saw her when she was in a coma and she's not, I don't know if she knows that I was there, but if her spirit, then they know. I'm going to mourn her in my house to remember who she was, and I'm going to remember her alive. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to go. To me, it's like, I don't know, because we come from a family where I feel it's so much hypocrisy that I don't want to go do a show. I don't want to do a let's measure who cried the most. Because in my aunt's funeral, there were so many people who had not shown up and seen her in a long time.
Forever,
I had not seen her in a long time. But I was sad because she had not lived a happy life. And I was sad for my mom because she had lost her best friend.
Yes.
But other people were there because that's what you do. I need to be at her funeral, not because I truly.
And she had a lot of people in her funeral, but I also feel that with my aunt it was different. My aunt was, I feel, an amazing person, and it was super unfair because she deserved more. But when she
needed everybody, when she was sick, when she was going through a lot of things, none of us were there. Maybe you were, but none of us were there, and I don't remember anyone ever saying that this other family members were there to take her to a doctor's appointment, to take her what she needed. And at that point, to me, that's why I don't want to plan, and I don't want it, and I will not put it in writing, because I don't want people to show up who have not been in my life.
And I think that's the thing too. I think funerals, again, are really sad to begin with, and I've been now to 4 funerals, 2 of which were like actual funerals where people were getting buried. The other 2 were a little different. But and 2 of the people I was very close to, very important people in my life. One of them being Carmen, the other one being my aunt. And my aunt was, yes, very, very close to my mom. And that was so sad. But also very close to me growing up. But I did see her. I did see her again, not as often as I should have, but I did see her on a semi-regular basis, where I had seen her at least a couple times a year. For the past few years, and the same thing with my friend for the I would say 5 to 10 years maybe before she passed. Maybe I don't remember exactly, but I had seen her regularly, maybe twice a year, which is not enough. Definitely not enough. But at least I was seeing her, and I think people do know that I try to see. I make myself a very busy person, but I do try to see the people that I feel have been close to me or are close to me, and on a regular basis. It's not ever enough, but I do feel that I've seen them. It's not like, oh, I haven't seen her, and that was very true. I think people were at my aunt's funeral that hadn't seen her in years. We're talking 5-10 years. And that,
and not
it
even
shouldn't be that way.
Did you know, it's like when someone dies of cancer and then they go to the funeral. Did you know when she got it? When she or he had cancer? How long have they been living with it? When they were going through chemotherapy? Did you? To me, I think the older I get, the more I come into knowing that you live every day, and you have to see who's around you when you are alive. And I'm not saying that I'm one of the persons, because one of the things of who we are and how we are because we were raised by who we were raised, it's very hard to call somebody and say, how are you? I just want to know how you are. But to somehow show like a text, oh my God, it's so easy nowadays. Send a text.
It's so much easier nowadays.
How are you? Just want to see that you're okay. That's it. Because a lot of people are also there crying, not the person, but what they could have done. For the person. And there is always that regret with someone that you're close to, that you should have done. I should have done this. I should have done that. But then there's also some, and maybe everybody treats it differently, but there is also people who are just forget everything. It's just like now they're in this funeral and they forget that they were never there for that person, or that they never went to go see that person. But do they?
Because then they're just mourning and, oh my God, I can't believe she's gone so soon. And yes, again, she's gone too soon. It shouldn't have happened. But remember everything else? Like, I don't know. That's a little weird for me. But I do want to go back to, do we die, or do things happen the way we want them to happen? And are we always sure that somebody else knows? And would we be able to respect it?
And I think it's more respecting it. And that's where it comes to
Because if you or my husband die tomorrow, I don't know, would I be able to respect that? Would I just be able to take their ashes, throw them in the ocean?
And I think you also
let
other people know. Like, I think if I tell you this is not what I want, then I now have to know, like, I have to tell my cousin this too, because then she can remind you that that's not what I would have wanted.
Or what if I tell her and she's like, no, you're lying? You know, that's the other thing too, because you're like, I tell my kids, I'm not going to believe your 6-year-old. I'm not, you know?
But I think, I think the most important thing is to respect the wishes of whoever does tell you. Because sadly enough, we think if I'm verbally telling you, it's because I trust you.
I think as I get older, and now that, little by little more people pass, And I think that's always a thing that I do think of, like, are things being done
How
the
they
way
would
they
have
would have
wanted.
wanted it.
And
And some things are, like, I remember seeing my aunt's pink casket and thinking, like, she would have loved that.
Yeah.
You know, but does that happen to all of us? You know, does everybody get that? And also, I think of whether we'd like to think about it or not, there's so much legality to it where, you know, there's only so much we can do with kids, or, you know, or what can we do for my mom? Is somebody gonna fight us? You know, what if Mike all of a sudden fights us and says, no, I want to do this? And not that he would. If you're listening, Mike, I know you wouldn't, but it's like, how are we doing things the way that she would want?
But I think, like my aunt, I really don't think she wrote it down, but I think that no matter what happened in her life and with her kids, she had these kids that wouldn't have done anything but respect her wishes.
But they're all adults.
They're all adults. So I
They're all
would
adults.
love to think that I'm not going to die till my kids are
And
adults.
I would love to think that my mom's going to live 20 years.
No, we're adults already. Like, if that was her deal with God, it already passed. And I'm not wishing her the death, but I'm prepared. You're prepared. At this point, seeing so many people pass away for whatever reason, I'm prepared for anybody. But I can't imagine not respecting anybody's wishes.
And I think because I also think, I remember one time, and I don't remember why we asked it, probably because Mercy was, you know, doing her stuff and had everything put together. And so I did ask you what you would want if you were, like, would you want to be resuscitated? Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Resuscitated?
Well,
Or
if
would
you're
you like to be under life support?
Yeah.
And I mean, you told me you wouldn't.
No.
And so I put that on my phone because I don't want to forget. And, like, you know, what if I'm like there and now I'm like panicking because you're in a coma, and, you know, and I'm like trying to buy Addie leggings that don't have patterns on it, and it's like, oh, I'm like panicking. What do I do? But at least this way I remember.
But then it comes to that. Imagine if I do pass away, which God, I know my deal, so I'm very secure with that. But would you not forget that I died and you did things your way? You already didn't respect my wishes there, or you did. Who knows? I don't care. I'm dead. But would you not respect my wishes in letting my children be themselves?
To a certain point, yes, I would.
So you're not keeping them, like they're already the tools.
I would for sure let them have their sparkle in a sana type of way. Yeah. But I would now also be raising 2 other human beings, so I would also raise them to my liking. I would also make sure that they got they ate the way that I felt was healthy for them. I would also make sure that they did certain things differently. And that's just, I think, part of raising kids. I think if I passed tomorrow and John wasn't around and you took Carly, I think the same thing. You probably would let her keep her style, even though you would really want her to wear patterned pants. But you would probably let her keep her style. But there's things, there would be things that would just be
because now you're in another home, and that's
natural. That's natural. It happens.
Rules.
It's just the way it is. But I would try to, in some way, keep them as your kids because they're this age. If they were babies, no, I don't know. I would have changed them completely. but they're they're older. They're older now, and so they would still keep for sure themselves.
I think
things would change
because they are older. Then whatever I've already raised them, it's already in them. And one thing I've always told my son, because he is 11 years old, but he's older, is the same way that you want to talk to God in the bathroom, you want to talk to God in the kitchen, you want to talk to God wherever. You don't have to go inside a church, you don't have to go anywhere. You just sit there and talk. If I die, wherever you are, you talk to me. That's why I'm not going to be buried. I don't need you to go now, because wherever was cheaper, they're going to bury me. Like, not in the city you live in. It's wherever anyone can afford to bury me. Here. So, so now you're here, and now that's
my backyard. No.
Yeah. Once, there's a lot
legal.
of space.
That's
but once you move, you go to NYU or you go somewhere, now you have this guilt that you left your mom behind. No. Like, they're really having enough guilt.
I think we've been very, very fortunate.
Yes.
Where we've never had someone close to us pass. Family wise,
and younger,
and even these, the 2 funerals that we're talking about, my best friend growing up and my aunt, we're all as adults. It
Yes.
happened to us as adults, and so it was very different. I don't know, and yeah, you're right. I don't know that I feel like we need to with my aunt. I do. I feel like we should go more often to her.
But and then you have probably this guilt.
You
because
do,
don't go. But
because
how
you don't go
often
enough.
in your house do you say, "Hey, Tia, like I
Mhm.
hope you're like resting."
And I do bring like her candle
Yeah.
on her, whenever it's her birthday or the day she passed or
And that means
Dia de los
to me
Muertos or
that means
something.
more than going to a gravesite
Mhm.
because then you're putting like this emphasis on a material thing.
Yeah, and I don't know. I have very mixed feelings. I don't know whether I want to be buried or not. I always
Yeah.
used to say I want to be cremated and I want my ashes buried.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then Carlos said that was too expensive,
Yeah,
and so he won't do it.
because it's two things. Like you have to pay for both.
Yeah. But I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would want, and maybe that's one of the hard things about writing it or putting it
Mhm.
down because I'm not really
Because you can
sure.
change your mind. I think you're still at the point where
And you
can change.
You can change your mind. You can.
What if you
can
forgot? The
continue
next
to
day you
change
change
mind.
your mind. A car runs you
I
over.
think you're supposed to revisit this every year.
But what if you got ran over by a car?
And then you're going to go with your last plan.
Yeah,
Sorry.
see,
Sorry, too bad, so sad you didn't tell anybody, But you're supposed to make these plans. So there's like these companies that do this. And you're
Yeah.
supposed to make these plans. This is what I want. This is how I want it to be. I want to be here. And I want this to be the music.
Yeah.
And, I want this kind of flowers. And all of that. You can do all of that
Yeah.
beforehand. I have to admit, it does creep me out a little. My husband and I have talked about paying for our burial spots, but then he decided he didn't want to get buried, and I'm not sure what I want, so we haven't done that. But we have also not really talked about it, and I do feel that it makes both of us uncomfortable.
But even
That
more,
it does make both of us almost because we grew up believing that. We grew up believing that you jinx it, that you wish it upon yourself.
But even like my friend bought her space or her I don't know what you call it, and her husband bought it. They're gonna be buried side to side. Guess what? They're not together anymore. And
But she should sell it,
no
shouldn't
one
she?
wants to buy it out. That she loves that space, and he
Why?
wants to be buried next to her.
Oh my gosh! No, I'd sell it. I'd sell it.
Well,
I'd be like, no, you're gonna be buried next to someone else.
well, they're both in that way, and like I tell her, in a subconscious way, you just want
You
to
want to be buried.
Even if he gets married, you want to be like, haha, he's gonna get buried with me.
I think that is what she thinks.
But I think a lot of people make plans and you don't know what's gonna happen. So I would rather be cremated because there's no. I can't suddenly think I want to be buried. I don't think I can change from that to that.
I'm not really sure yet, but I'll have to let you know because I don't know. But I do know. I
And
do
you
know.
pay for forever for these. They're expensive. You pay
Yes,
for a
yes.
long
That's
time.
why we haven't really committed to buying a spot because I don't know that that's what I want. So I don't know, but I do know like certain things I do want a service. I think I do want somewhere where people are going to go and mourn me for that day. I know that I want everyone to wear black. That I don't want this whole we're gonna wear color because we're gonna be happy. No, I want everyone to wear black. I always used to tell the girls at work. One of the girls that worked there said she always wanted to like what is that called? Flash dance? Like when you all dance in a group.
Is it called no?
No, not flash
Mob?
dance. That sounds wrong.
No.
Mob dance? Dance mob?
No.
I
I don't know.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That thing where like everyone starts dancing
Yes,
at
like
the same time,
coordinated.
choreographed. Yeah. Okay. Well, I do want something like that. 'Cause how cool would that have been?
Dressed in black.
Everyone just breaks out and dance. Like that would be pretty awesome. But I'm okay if I don't have that. But I do want a lot of flowers. I want people to talk about me, but I want them to be honest. I want people to say, you know what? She was a bitch.
They're not.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing that I would want that. I don't want the fakeness. I don't. I want people to say that they love me because I'm lucky enough to at least believe that there's people out there who love me.
Yeah.
So I want people to say that they love me, but also say what they didn't like about me, especially if it's me. People who know me know that I have a pretty strong personality and that I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who dislike me, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
And don't turn around and then say you like me now. It's okay.
But you see, too, already to me, it's like, oh my god, I would get anxiety because I already think like I already know that I would be kind of like, why are you lying? Like, and then a fight's gonna break out.
So then you have the right to do that. You have the right to do
and
that.
then everyone's fighting
people-
dressed in black.
As people are speaking, you can have this big sign that just says fake
Yes.
or like faker or something, and then every time someone says something that isn't true, just put your sign up.
I would be like, you're lying. Like, true. Like, you're only here because we invited you. Like, you wouldn't have even came.
And maybe don't invite people. Just make it like word of mouth.
I think you have to invite. Don't you have to have like little invitations? There's little
you should have like
things.
pretty little invitations.
Yeah.
But then what picture do you use? I'm horrible at pictures.
You are. But then shouldn't you
Oh my
use
God,
a
that's
horrible
stressful.
picture? Because that's what you look like when you took a picture.
No, because hopefully that's not what I look like in person.
But that's a picture.
Have you seen Have you seen how I photograph? I'm like Chandler from Friends. I don't photograph. I make like these weird faces and I
So can
don't
we
photograph.
Photoshop?
No, just find a good picture. I'll find a picture and tell you what I would.
So
But then,
like
but
a
then
young
also,
picture.
yeah, it also becomes like this super young picture. Like no one even knew me that way.
And then we have to blow it up to like they have these huge pictures. Who keeps that?
Oh, I
don't
know.
know.
You keep it.
I'm not keeping it. I'm not like,
Yeah, so maybe not a big picture like that. I don't know. Yeah, it is a lot to think of.
I would be there like, yeah, she died. We're like, what can we do? We can't do nothing about it anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot to think of. It's definitely an awkward conversation for some of us. Maybe some people are perfectly okay with it. You tell us how you feel about it, but it's definitely something that not everybody wants to do, and it is something to think about. Yeah. I think we think of, at least we've thought of what we consider the norm. You know, we've thought of life insurance. We've thought of is the house going to be paid off so that, you know, our kids have nothing to worry about. We've thought of all that. We do. So we have done all that.
Yeah.
They won't have anything to worry about if we both go at the same time. It should hopefully be enough to keep them going.
If you go first, do you write down on your list, like, can your husband remarry?
I told him he has to mourn me for a year. If he does not remember that, because he's going to say he doesn't, it's now here, recorded. You play it back to him. He has to wait a year.
All he hears is, I can bring her in the house for a year.
None of this, but I fell in love. But if I do go first, which I don't think I am. I think he's for sure going to go first. But if I go first, I do want him to remarry. Maybe not remarry, just live with her or something. I don't know, but I do want him to be happy because and that's a whole other episode. Yeah. But I do feel that what if he does find his soulmate? I am perfectly okay with admitting to the fact that I'm not his soulmate.
And, well, no one marries soulmates, so but we'll
do that next episode. So I'm okay if he finds that person. Okay. But you know what? On that same note, I have never asked him whether he'd be okay with me getting remarried.
I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm dead.
I don't care. Yeah. And that, or he knows that I wouldn't. That I'd be like, I don't.
Really? I don't think he ever thinks that you wouldn't. I'm pretty sure he has a will that says she cannot or she can't get this money or something.
If I remarry?
Yeah.
No, but the money happens automatically.
Really?
But yeah, as long as it's not suicide and as long as it's not like murder, like I didn't murder him, you know, but other than that, I'm gonna get the money. I'm his beneficiary. I mean, because he's not, there's no prenup because we're not rich and he had no money, you know, so you know, we're okay. Yeah, we don't really have anything to worry about. So make sure you think about this. Hopefully this makes you think, how do I want to die? What do I want to happen after I go? And if you're not going to put it on writing because maybe you're just not that put together, then at least get talking about it. Talk to people about it, and so that they know what you want.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and end this with a quote. Respect people's feelings. Even if it doesn't mean anything to you, it could mean everything to them. Question you soon.